Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo and we're here at the South Park Center. I'm delighted to be joined with Aline, with her movie Arello and Merlani. Let's take a little clip.
Bonsoir, ça va? Parlez-vous português?
Pouquinho.
Ah, pouquinho, ok. Eu tenho uma amiga e ela está procurando um espaço aqui em Paris para fazer show. Você sabe me dizer se aqui...
Não, aqui não fazemos.
Não
A
no
gente
momento.
não faz espetáculo aqui. Eu conheço gente onde pode fazer, mas ela já esteve aqui.
Thank you so much for being here.
I'm so happy to be here.
Welcome to the New Filmmakers LA family. Thank you for bringing this very impactful story. I'm so glad that you brought this story to us. For those that haven't seen it, tell us a little bit about the film.
Dream coming true. In his 50s now, we follow him through his humble beginnings in Brazil a little bit, and then his years in the United States, trying to figure out who he was. That is when I met him. And finally, taking the leap and moving to Paris.
It's so amazing. Like, you know, Paris is one of the most magical experiences. I mean, he's obviously from Brazil. I love Brazil, but going from one country, one side of the world to the other is very brave. But then obviously what he wanted to uncover in himself is like a whole nother incredible level. And there's nothing quite like Paris, as you know. How did this story come about? Where did this idea, when did you decide to kind of do this? Now, you produced this film, so congratulations, you know, it's a big job. But where did this all come about to create this story?
So I think I mentioned it before that I created the idea of the story through my friendship with Audio. So Audio and I basically were the creators of the story.
Wow.
We met about 13 years ago. I was his teacher in Salt Lake City, and he was an English student. Yes.
Wow.
Which is how, you know, that was his first round. Like he arrived in the U.S. You know, fresh and for a new life, basically. And then through the years, I heard when I moved to Hollywood for work, I heard through social media that he had now become, you know, this new he had a new identity. And when he moved to Hollywood also, we got back together and we started just exchanging, you know, just life experiences that we had over the years that we hadn't seen each other. And the more we had fun talking about our, you know, sad stories and happy stories, I told him, like, we're going to make a movie about this, because I was producing at the time, like producing for different shows here in LA. And I was more and more convinced that, you know, creatively, this is the type of story that I want to tell. And I love him, and that's why I just wanted to give him this space. I wanted to lift up the stories of people that I feel I'm part of that group that are trying to find their identity.
Yeah.
And I think that this is what I'm really happy with the way that the movie turned out, and with the story being told the way that it is through Felipe Galvão's touch, is that it's an immigrant story, but it's really a mirror to anyone who is ever so slowly struggling to reveal their true selves. And there's so many ways to do that. You know, there's so many layers to who you are, and through the years, regardless of like genre, like, you know, gender, that is, regardless of gender, it's a lifelong human pursuit of who you are. And the way that it's so colorful, in the way that Audio shows and he was so generous to share so much of his life. It's not easy.
No, not at all.
It's not easy to be in that position and be the subject of, I'm going to tell you my life story. Like, I didn't have the guts to do it.
Yeah.
But I saw myself in him. And I'm just grateful that he was open enough to show me, you know, so much growth through what he went through.
I mean, isn't it amazing how, you know, it's what's so beautiful about film, isn't it? And human beings, you know, there he is inspiring you and each other and telling this particular story. What I loved about the way you told this story is that it was so raw. Like, it was just like, I literally felt like I was getting to know him, but really feeling his experience and just how much it meant to him and his discovery of identity and traveling to Paris and all of those things. When you turned around and said, hey, you're my friend and we know each other, I want to make a movie about your life, what was his reaction? How did he react to that?
He is a very optimistic person. I learned some very sad things about his life making this movie that I had no idea had happened in Brazil. So he reacted the way that, you know, he always reacts to, regardless of what the situation is. He was just very excited. He said, yes, how are we going to do it? But, you know, it was a matter of, tell me what you would like to do, and I would love to be a part of it. Even to this day, every time there's a new screening, like the movie has been in like over 15 festivals now. I mean, and every time people just come to me, like people that we don't know, saying that Audi is just such a brilliant person, just like, you know, you just mentioned. You see that he is a very sensitive, kind, honest human being. And to me, as a producer, that is what touches me. Like, I think that when you are a real person, you know, that doesn't necessarily have an agenda through to have a relationship with someone or a friendship with someone, it comes through like so easily. And with him, it is like that.
Yeah. You really, I love what you just said, because you really did capture that on film. Like, you really did, you know. I mean, he's such an endearing nature, you know, that you can feel his kindness, you can feel his sensitivity, his care, you know, you feel it through. It's really shined through. What was it like actually, what was it like actually filming this experience? Because you want to get I mean, obviously you know each other, but you want to get the best out of the experience, right? How was actually filming?
Okay, so when it comes to that, because I was very close to the story, like I think I told this before, but I was very insecure. I don't like to use that word, but I was not sure if I would do the best job telling the story. I feel that, like, sometimes the truest of people are not seen. And I didn't want, like, my insecurities to get in the way of telling his story. So when I met Felipe Galvão, he was a director that was introduced to me in Cannes. He's Brazilian. He's been in Paris, in France, for over 10 years. So he has this soul, this immigrant soul. And I know that he has his own, I can see through his work that he's got a lot of searching, you know, that he does through the work that he's, you know, that he's developing. He sent me a movie called Encantado, which means enchanted in Portuguese. And it was a very political movie that he made in Rio, in his hometown. And, but it was extremely human. If you watch it, I think it's still available on Amazon. And when I watched it, I was like, okay, I think I can put Aureo and Felipe together, and something great will come from this, because, and I had only seen Felipe's one movie, right? So this is when I experienced the magic of being a producer, which I want to sing praises to producers, because
it's hard work, isn't it?
Because one, I think that there's all kinds of producers. It's true, but I would say that there's a group of producers that are extremely sensitive, and they are not sure whether they can really portray what they want to say. I'm speaking for myself again.
Yeah, but I understand.
But then, when you put together a story that you really, really feel close to, and then you find the artist that you think, I think that through this lens, we will be able to tell the story in a way that will touch people in a way that I believe should happen. And to me, that was magic. And so when Felipe was filming, he worked with Adèle Autain. He's a producing partner. And so she was producer, and they put together a team of 4 people. Michel Gurrieri was the DOP, Dominique Paris, the editor, and Maxime Paris was the composer. And so it's a very French team. The sensibility, you can tell that you're asking me about, like, how it was shot, right? The sensibility is extremely French, in my opinion. But with the scene Felipe, and his work, that's his lens.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, listen, I mean, the lens he gave us was just, you know, it was actually really wonderful to see this film on the big screen, you know, because you really get to capture the environment, the experience, and the journey as well that you show in this film. There are obviously so many reasons why we go into making and creating ideas, but, you know, not every idea turns into a film. And I'm just curious, like, you knew the story, the person you wanted to tell the story, and that transformation. But what were you kind of, from a producer standing back as a filmmaker, what did you want your audience to experience from your film?
To be very honest, I knew that the fact that his alter ego was a drag queen was going to be shiny. Like, that part was just going to be, in a way, not commercial, but it was gonna pop. What we wanted to make sure is that Audio's story was very present. We agreed that we want this one person to really be able to tell his journey, and it's because I see people that are not valued enough, I think. And for example, my question is always, why is he an immigrant? Why was I an immigrant 20 years ago? And then today, you know, depending on where you're from, you're an expat.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
I mean, what are the elements that
Good
make
question.
me an immigrant and Audio an immigrant and, you know, someone else an expat?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's very economic.
Yep.
It's racial.
Yep.
There's a group of reasons why we call some people immigrants and others expats. And it has a lot to do with the color of your skin and how much money you have in the bank.
That's absolutely true.
So-
Absolutely true. Welcome to America and many other countries that follow suit. I love that, and I love that your essence and where your heart's at as a filmmaker is shining a light on these amazing people. You know, the just, and you see and I want what you said earlier. I love what you said earlier about the kind of truth. These very truthful people as well. You know.
Yeah, it's not a theory that I talk about a lot. I feel things a lot without putting words to them. But this idea that some people come through without a mask in the world, and they are the most. I mean, they're the ones that we should like treasure the most, and yet, in my case, like I have tried my best to put on masks.
Yeah. Oh,
in different
goodness.
ways.
Yeah.
And I use myself as an example because, you know, people do what they can to survive in whatever world they decide to be in. But so with Mirelle, it was like, wow, what about if you openly take a side of you and you really say, yes, this is my mask and I'm proud of my mask.
Yeah.
But that's because in my heart, this is me. You know, the truth has, like, one person has so many different sides that I just appreciate when I feel that a person is herself in that situation.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, you know, you've captured it, particularly in this film as well. So how was this experience last night? Like, what was it like sharing this film? What was it like being in the atmosphere? How was that experience for you?
It was the whole festival yesterday. It was a day-long event. It didn't
literally.
stop. It didn't stop. Like, my plan was to watch all of the movies in all the sessions, and I tried my best.
It's a lot.
But then, like, people that I love from, like, that I hadn't seen in 20 years flew in to see the movie.
That must have felt so special.
I was bubbling with all sorts of emotions. My husband showed up for the first time. I've been doing this for 2 years. I mean, no pressure.
Yeah.
But I just felt like there were so many parts of my creative soul that were nurtured yesterday.
Oh, good. That's the best. That's the best me than ever.
I just and
Yeah.
because the festival has a week-long
sessions.
marathon of, like, meeting with 20 other filmmakers. Everyone has a pitch, and I listened to those pitches for the whole week, and I finally got to watch those movies. It was just like, it was great. It was great. It was
That's
amazing.
amazing.
Like,
And you've got such a wonderful group of people in your program, Filmmakers. So, I know you hopefully met a lot of amazing new people into your life as well. Where are you taking us next? What's next for you?
Well, we do have enough material to make it into a 45-minute special that we are in negotiations with French channels.
Great.
So because it's filmed in Paris, it has a very Parisian soul to it. So there's been some interest. And in France, they do have space for TV to have, shorter specials, shorter than movies.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that we're trying to do. We're looking for partners, basically, to finish the movie.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Anyone out there, please.
Yeah.
Well, listen, thank you so much. Thank you to all of your, well, of course, our main human being that made this all happen, whichever part of him shows up. But thank you to all of you, your director and all the people that were involved in making it. And welcome to the New Filmmakers LA family.
Thank you. I couldn't be happier. Thank you so much.
Aline, everybody.